12.4 deals with hyperbolas. Now, again, we are still dealing with a conic section. The deal is when you do a hyperbola, you're actually doing the double cone is where a hyperbola comes from. So imagine that if you took this cone, this double cone here, and we cut it like this, right? Essentially, like imagine what you make, and I'm trying to do this. I tried to put a video on there that would make this, but you kind of have like this, and then over here, you kind of have the cut over here. So you really got these that are going to be equally spaced apart. So like if you put a point right here, you'd have an equal spacing to the vertex there and to the vertex. The vertex is just the point where it starts to turn, point where it starts to turn, right there. So these are called hyperbolas. Now when we look at them on a graph, I hear hyperbola looks like this. It's either going to be like a U shape with its counterpart, or it's going to be a U shape with its counterpart, right? Kind of just tells us which side. It's basically, really, if you wanted to do this, if we took an ellipse and we said, cut that ellipse and flip it out, right? So then, oh, instead of it going in, it's going to go out, right? So I cut half of it, it flipped out, cut half of it, and flipped out. So it's going to look a lot like an ellipse in the sense that we're just going to rotate it around here. All right, so here's what we need to know. Standard form of an equation. And so this is worth writing down. It looks like this right here, or like this right here. Now, depending on what it says, will depend on if it's horizontal or if it's vertical. Vertical being up, down, horizontal being left, right. Right? So that's going to determine. Now, what determines? It's what is the positive unit. So typically, if we write it in standard form, the one that's positive will be written first. And so see how the x is written first? So we're going to be parallel to the x-axis. If the y is written first because it's the positive, then it will be parallel to the y-axis. Right? So that's kind of what you need to know. We're going to focus mostly just on the idea of vertices, which is the vertex point of each of these, and vertices here, and co-vertices, which is going to create for us a little box. Asymptotes, these are lines that get created that kind of contain a graph. So a graph can never pass. So when you hear the word asymptote, it's a part of a line that you can never pass. So let me tell you, let's just say I had an asymptote. So I usually like to do that with a dash line here. And I was drawing like a line. And this line would go, and then as you get to an asymptote, the line would have to bend, and it kind of just follows the asymptote. Right? So that's kind of what an asymptote does to a graph. It basically says you cannot cross. Right? It's little Gandalf with a stick and says you may not pass. That's kind of the idea, right? It's kind of that. So it contains a graph here. So what we're going to end up doing though is we are going to, on a graph, let's say we're going to go with a horizontal graph. So what we're going to do first is we're going to find vertex points. So maybe I have a vertex point and a vertex point. What you're going to find out is you're going to find a center, and the vertex point is going to be a certain distance to the right, and we're going to go that same distance to the left. Now that will be the vertex. Then we're going to find what we call a co-vertex point, and that will be a certain distance up and a certain distance down. Then what we will do with those, we will create a box. Like that will go here. And that box gives us a place to put our asymptotes. So the asymptotes will always go through the corners of the box extending out from the center. And why is this important? Because it contains the graph. Now these are always going to be U-shaped graphs. So I would put my graph, it's going to be a U that's going to sit in the asymptote, right? Remember, an asymptote contains it. It's going to hit the vertex point, and it's going to stay contained. So there's one half, and then we go to the other side. Follow the asymptote, hit your vertex, follow the asymptote, right? So we're going to always need what we call, well, we just always need, we need the vertex point and its partner, right? The two vertices. We need what we call the co-vertex points here. And those will be enough to kind of get us there. We're not going to really worry about the foci, the focus points, but essentially there's a focus point that kind of it wraps around. So it wraps around these points here. And if we got into the idea of engineering or physics, we would see the reason why, right? Because that there's things that like satellite dishes. You guys have seen satellite dishes. Maybe you even have satellite on your house. But a satellite dish looks kind of like this, has like this little thing in the middle, right? And it's actually a cone that's down. And the idea is if you're looking at a cross section, that the foci point is where everything kind of bounces. So like if there's a satellite signal, it comes in, bink, it hits that and it goes to there. If the signal comes in on this side, it hits that and it goes to there. And that's the physics behind it. It hits there and it'll always go. Everything will always be directed back to the focus point, which is why that little part inside a satellite dish kind of sticks out right here. That's called the focus point. So as the satellite signal comes in, boom, hits it, and it transmits it right back to where it's supposed to be. So it doesn't matter where it hits it, it kind of gets it in there. So that's what we're trying to do, is idea of a hyperbola. And the same thing we'll see with a parabola. It does the same idea, but we'll get to that on the next one. Okay, so here's the idea. There's our basic form. I do want you to notice it looks very similar to an ellipse equation, except that it has a minus sign in here. A minus sign instead of a plus sign. That's the only difference, right? Sneaky, sneaky. So be careful on that. Okay. Here we go. So we're not going to worry about focus-centered points. We are going to be worried more about the center, the vertex, and the co-vertex, right? Those are going to be the pieces that we are going to focus on in our time here. So focus points, although we could explore more into the focus points, we're not going to do that, okay? So write an equation in standard form. So you might too, let me just give you a quick briefing on what this looks like, and then we'll talk more about the equation. But here it is. Center at 0, 0, okay? So that's where that is going to be. And it's going to be a shift, just like a circle, just like an ellipse, to find where that center shifts to. Okay, we have a vertex at 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So it's there. So that means it's also got to have its counterpart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, negative 9, 0. Okay, so there's the vertex. Co-vertex is 0, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the negative direction. Okay, then what we would do, we'd build our box. Right, we'd do this right here. And then we would draw our X's. That's going to go through the center and the corner of those boxes. That would give us enough to put our hyperbolas together, right? So this is, if I had to draw it out, that's what it would be represented like, okay? But, okay, so let's talk equation. So since this is a left-right, or what we call a horizontal equation, I'm going to start with my X minus something squared over something minus, instead of plus, y minus something squared over something equals 1. Okay, so what's our shift? We didn't shift off of 0, 0, so it's minus 0, because we didn't. The center, which is still here of the whole graph, is at 0, 0. Okay, so now the major axis here, or the major, just like it is with an ellipse, it's a distance of 9 from the center, right? So you got to go 9 in either direction. So we're going to go 9 squared. And then the other one, the co-vertex has a distance of 7. So we're going to go 7 squared. So in the end of the day, oops, let's just make this look like we're like nice and simplified as we want it. X squared over 81 minus y squared over 49 equals 1. That would give us this graph here, right? So very much like an ellipse, we're going to keep that idea going, okay? All right, so let's look at this one. So we already did one like this, kind of just above. So let's do this next one, number 7. So let's get the equation of this one, right? So now notice where it is. It's an up and down. It's a vertical. So we're going to start with a y minus something squared minus x minus something squared equals 1. Okay, there's the center right there, 0, 0. So they did not shift this off of the center. And then this is what we call kind of our major axis or our major vertex, right? Which they really just called the vertex. It looks like they went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have 10 squared. And then, so the co-vertex here then is 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So it is just 8 squared. So we got y squared over 100 minus x squared over 64 equals 1. There's our equation that represents that one right there. Let me see the other one. No, it's still at 0, 0. I was hoping I got another example that was off of 0, but that way we could do it. So that one's going to be fairly simple, just like the one above it that we did. Let's try this one. Find the vertices, co-vertices, and asymptotes of the hyperbola and then graph. Okay, so let's just graph this is essentially what they're asking us to do. And so we can do the asymptotes by building our box. So here we go. Let's try this real quick because we're going to have to do some of these graphing of these. Okay, now check which one is positive. The positive one is the x, and they happen to write it first. Don't let them trick you by trying to write the negative first, right? So if the x is written first, we do know that this is going to be a left-right, or what we call a horizontal. Okay, so first of all, where's the center? No shift, center's right at the middle. Okay, since it is horizontal, we're going to take 49, we're going to square root it, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1 point, that's the vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the other vertex. And then we are going to look at, okay, along the y, it says to go 6, because it's the square root of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we have vertex points and co-vertex points. Create an imaginary rectangle right here. And that will then supply us with enough to put our asymptotes coming out from the center. Okay, and then let's draw in our graph, right? And these are just sideways U shapes now. Following the asymptotes, hitting the vertex point. Following the asymptotes, hitting the vertex point. And you got it. All right, so that's what that looks like right there. So really all the stuff that I wrote in blue kind of would fade away if this is an actual graph, and what would stand out would be the two U shapes that are opposite of each other, right? This would be the same right here. Looks like, so again, they started with an X, so this would be a sideways, and they didn't shift off of 0, 0. Let's get to one of these down here that is a shift off of 0, 0. Still an X, okay? So the X still has the positive, right? So let's look at this one real quick. So oops, let's do this in the normal color here. Okay, I am getting all mixed up. Here we go. All right, now we're on it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is find the center value. Remember, it's the thing that comes after the minus sign, or just think opposite of what you see. I see -4, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I see -3, which really means opposite, so I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3. That is where our center point will be, right there. Okay, from there, let's do this, okay? So again, whatever is positive, that's the one that the actual point is on, right? So even if the number is smaller, so I want you to not get confused with this one, all right? So the first one, the positive, right? So this whole part right here is positive. So the 9, so square root of 9 is 3 along the x. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a point. So I'm going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a point. Those are your vertex points. So yes, those are the points that the graph will touch. Even since this is bigger, it doesn't really matter, right? So 64, so I'm going to square root that. It's 8. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's going to give us enough to build our rectangle. And I like doing a dash lines because it doesn't actually show up on the graph. And then put our asymptotes. Now just notice how wide these asymptotes are, which is okay, because at the end of the day, we're just going to follow them, touch the vertex point, and wrap around. It just makes it a really, really wide open hyperbola. Okay, so we're all about vertex points and co-vertex points. And it's unlike an ellipse. It's whichever one is the positive containment tells you if it's going to be a left-right horizontal or an up-down vertical hyperbola, right? And then we look for the shift. Okay, so hopefully that gets you kind of where we're going to be. We'll go over some more problems tomorrow.